What do you think to the welcome to Part 3, Ken? What do you think to the Ben Davidson, aka Boxer Size Ben from Crossroads? Benny from Crossroads, should I say? What do you think to his online boxing masterclass training tuition thing?
I don't think anything about it, Russell, to be honest with you. I don't, I'm sick of all that. I've said it before. I want to see fights. I want to see boxers. I don't want to. I've been around boxing and long enough to know about boxing and how you throw a jab. I don't need somebody to spend 2 hours talking about themselves and promoting themselves through that. I don't think about it. I don't watch it. I couldn't care less about YouTube social media coaches.
No,
I don't care. I have no interest in it whatsoever. I want
to now in boxing.
I just want. No, I want to see. I want to see. I want to see coaches get the fighters where they need to be, and I want to watch the fights. I don't care about all that nonsense. I've no interest whatsoever.
No,
no. I just want to see. I want to see good fights. I want to see good fighters. I want to see boxing back where it is, making good fights. Outside of that, I don't care. I don't care about any of that crap. I'm sick. I think you go back and you look at Lexa Caldwell. He's on talking about every fight and about this and that, and look at the last performance from Jordan Gill. He gets smashed to pieces by a 39-year-old Kiko Martinez. So I just want to see coaches get their fighters where they need to be, and I want to see the fighters perform. I don't care about all that stuff. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'm bored of it.
Who's Caldwell got now in his stable?
Has he not got? Has he? Hopey Price. He's got. Call him. As I say, Jordan Gill. I'm not actually sure. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I'm sick of him as well. I've no interest in, and I've absolutely no interest in him at all. He's constantly on talking about fights and this and that, and I'm just sick to death of all these YouTube coaches. Just go on and get their fighters where they need to be, and that's what they need to do. Yeah, I think that's the best part of that's their job as a coach, to get the fighter where they need to be. Of no interest in all that.
No. All right.
No.
What next for Anthony Yarde, Kent?
I think he's in a really hard fight here. I think it's a really, really tough fight. A really tough fight. Has he had the last 12 months? You look at build up. You look at the matchmaking for the last 12 months of Anthony Yarde. Does that put him in the mix to fight Beterbiev and beat somebody of that level? I don't think he's had the build up for that. I think it's a really, really, really hard fight. I think Frank Warren's coming out of it, and Frank Warren has this last year has really, really built up a really, really good stable, a better stable than I think Eddie Hearn had 5-6 years ago. He's putting on stadium fights. There's a lot of really good fights happening over on that platform. I think get in with Yarde. I think it's brave because Yarde has already fought away. He's fought in Russia. He's already fought for a world title before, and he's come up short, and he could have won that fight if he had a bit more experience. And they've gambled with him. They've gambled with somebody with a limited amateur experience. That they've gambled with someone with a limited pro, experience. Hasn't really fought at a top level before that, kind of round about trinket level, not even British at level. And you look at somebody like Joshua Boatsi, who was at the Olympics and had full-time training in EIS, had a massive deal with Matchroom at the time, and documentaries made about him, social media hoo-ha about him, and what's he done?
Yeah.
They're two contrasting careers. A lot of people can say a lot about Anthony Yarde, but at least he's actually fought at world level. At least Frank Warren has been brave enough to actually match him with Kovalev at the time. I think it was a very, very winnable fight. It was like crossroad matchmaking that went wrong, but they were brave enough to put him in with Kovalev, and now they're brave enough to put him in with arguably one of the best fighters in the world, in Beterbiev, who is a world elite class amateur, and now is an elite class wrecking machine in the pro ranks. I think what's going to happen in this fight, it's going to tell us what level Anthony Yarde's at now in his career and after this fight.
Where do you see that division going with British fighters, Kent? Because we've had Callum Johnson Beterbiev, haven't we? Now we've got Yarde Beterbiev. We've had Yarde, Kovalev, and where does it leave Boatsi? And where do you see all that mix? Dan Aziz as well. He's in that mix.
Dan Aziz is coming through. I think Dan Aziz is about 18 months away from that type of level. I think what Dan Aziz needs to do now is just keep doing what he's been doing. He's a British Commonwealth champion. I think he wants to do things traditionally. So I think they're talking now, it's a European title. I think that European title is vacant. I think that's the next logical step for him. And I think if he can just I think Dan Aziz is in his 30s, but I think, wearing turways, he's not. I think he looks after himself. I think he's a young 33. He's a really young. I think he's 33. He's young in boxing ways. So I think he's just going to stay to what he's doing, stick to that roadmap, and go down European level. And by the time he gets to European level, hopefully that division kind of takes place, takes shape. So the WBC now have called for the winner of Beterbiev to fight Callum Smith in the WBC. He's ranked number 1 WBC. So we'll see what happens there. Beterbiev hasn't ducked anyone, and I don't see why he should want to duck Callum Smith. I think that's a really, really good fight. And I think even if, Yarde, Callum Smith is a good fight. You look at Craig Richards, Lyndon Arthur, they're all there. You've got Joshua Boatsi, who's disappeared off the face of the earth. I think he's saying that. I think that's where we go back to Matchroom, and we look at, it's not really good business sense. They've signed him to that deal where he's on X amount of money to fight trinket level fighters. That doesn't really draw. This last fight had only 3,000 people at it. The Craig Richards fight, that's not going to generate much gate income. You've even fighters there like Padraig McCrory from Northern Ireland. He's an IBO world champion. So there's a lot of really, really good fights there. I actually think Dan Aziz and Padraig McCrory would be a really good fight. But going back to Yarde and Beterbiev, I think the winner of Callum Smith would be be logical. But ultimately, after this fight, I would like to see Beterbiev against Bivol in a super fight at light heavyweight. That would be monstrous. That would be a massive, massive fight.
Callum Smith's career doesn't seem to be taking off, does it? Do you think?
Well, he had that massive money. He had the Colano money. That's massive. So he's had two trinket wins. He's had two basically, Sancho, type, busmen, taxi drivers, road sweep type opposition. So they're kind of just mark time fights. It just looks like he's waiting for the next big cash out fight. He's just waiting for the fight with the logical, the big money. And I suppose you can't blame him on that. But when you've had that Colano money and you're going into this type of kind of trinket, kind of top 50 type opposition, it just tells you he's just waiting for a cash out.
Yeah. Do you ever see Callum Smith fighting Anthony Yarde?
Could I?
Yeah.
It depends, and you look at the whole Matchroom thing at the minute. Matchroom aren't investing in UK boxing. I think it looks like they're finished with it. I think that has to happen. I think that would have to happen for money wise. I can't see Eddie Hearn paying Yarde the money that he's going to want if he wins or loses. I think that fight would more or less happen on BT. For Callum Smith to get the purse that he wants and the money he wants, that fight would need to be on BT.
You reckon?
Absolutely, yeah. DAZN aren't generating that income, and it would have to be on pay-per-view.
Do you see Anthony Yarde beating Beterbiev? And if he does, where's his career go then?
If he does beat him, his career goes to the moon.
Yeah.
It goes to the moon. It's a massive coup for Frank Warren. It shows that investment that Frank Warren had in him, at the start of his career, to take him to Russia to fight Kovalev. That's investment. I think he needs to be doing that type of investment with going back to likes of Dubois. But I don't see him beating Beterbiev. I think Terbiev's backhand is like a job. I think fundamentally he is really, really good, and he carries monstrous power with great boxing fundamentals. I think it's going to be a really, really hard task for Anthony Yarde to win that fight. But if he comes through it well, and he comes through it the way that Callum Johnson did, there's big fights out there for him. But I can't see that Callum Smith fighting, maybe say Yarde loses that fight. I can't see him wanting that fight. I think he's going to want too much money to fight. Obviously a loser of that fight, it wouldn't make good business sense. I think it would be a good if he wins. It would be a massive domestic fight. I don't know what the rematch clause is in that fight. I don't know. I don't think Frank Warren is. Obviously the Tyson Fury rematches, but that was signed as a treble fight deal with Wilder. I don't think Frank Warren is rematch happy as Eddie Hearn is. But it's a fantastic division, Russell. It's really, really, really good division.
Yeah. What do you see happening with the old Chisora situation at the moment? Is he going to come back, and whose fault were it that he stayed out there? I've seen Spencer Fearon come out and say it wasn't Don Charles's fault, and Derek wouldn't have wanted to be pulled out, and I can see all that. But do you think they were taking a massive gamble leaving him in there?
Shouldn't have. He hadn't won a round. He hadn't landed really anything of note.
Can something be said, Kent, that we shouldn't really have a go at him because they put him in there in the first place?
Well, the fight was made. They knew what they were going with. They knew they knew the level of fighter that they were going in with the fight. You know, that Tyson Fury is arguably the best heavyweight in the world. Look what he done to Deontay Wilder. Would Derek Chisora have been able to have those performances against Deontay Wilder? No. They knew what they were. They knew the level of fighter they were going to get in with.
Can
Russell.
something be said for all the people that Tyson Fury's beat? Can something be said that Joe Joyce and Joshua have beat them people? Can a case be made for that?
I don't think Anthony Joshua beats Deontay Wilder in any day of the week, in any given day.
Beats him. Does Dylan White beat Wilder?
Not a chance.
Where would Dylan White end up if he fought Wilder?
Probably the same as Robert Helenius.
Because that.
Yeah. Especially after that last performance.
Planet Jupiter.
Beyond Jupiter. Beyond orbit.
Joshua's trainer situation, Ken. Who do you think he should go to, Ken?
I don't know, because if Joshua looks at the minute like he's uncoachable.
Name me some trainers who he hadn't mentioned in UK who he could go to, who are from down there.
Shane McGuigan's been talking about it. Barry McGuigan's been throwing his hat in the ring, promoting himself, attaching himself to go to Shane. I don't know stylistically where he's at with his training. He's got Angel Hernandez is there. What's his role? I see a lot of stuff that he does. It doesn't make sense with Joshua. I've seen two different styles. He's been in between styles now for a long time. He had three coaches at one stage. He had Joby Clayton. He had Angel. He had Rob. It's just chaotic. It's for me. It doesn't matter who coaches Anthony Joshua at the minute. I don't think any.
Do you think he's got too much in his head now from all these trainers? But there's one trainer that he's not been to in the academy. You know what that is, don't you?
Yeah, and I think.
Go to Adam Boom. He's the best. The Dark Lord.
Go to Adam Boove. I had to get that off.
Ken,
it's terrible. I sound Dutch.
Ken, you sound like somebody's holding. You sound like Boom Gardner's holding you down under cover. Ken.
The man was a big, tough, brave man, but when he met me, he got beat within inside a minute. And the ambulance scraped him up off the road and took him away to the hospital, and his life was over from there on. And plenty of witnesses, including Greater Manchester Regional Crime Squad, they stopped me from absolutely killing him altogether.
You like that, wouldn't you?
I don't think AJ has got the rhythm. He's not a rhythmic fighter. He hasn't got that rhythm. I think a lot of Adam Boo fighters have a bit of rhythm and head movement. I think he's too robotic. I remember when David Price went to him, and it didn't work out.
Big Price.
I just don't think it. Yeah, big pricey. It didn't work out.
Do you remember, Ken, when Frank Maloney used to do all them interviews back in the day? He was telling horror stories about Pricey. Wasn't he like he was going to kill us all in our beds?
I actually couldn't sleep at night at that stage. I was on Friday fight night. I actually couldn't sleep at night, worrying about David Price coming to your door and knocking you out. Imagine David Price coming to your house, to your plumbing, and sticking an extra couple £100 on the bill. You wouldn't exactly at that stage. You wouldn't exactly argue with him. The big stiff plumber. But I think AJ's uncoachable at the minute. I don't think anybody can coach AJ at the minute. I think all the damage has been done with him.
all you need to do with big pricey, if he puts 200 quid on plumbing bill, is just put one on his beard.
If you could reach him.
I've actually met David Price. He's actually a nice guy, actually.
I tell you what, David Price is an absolutely fantastic pundit.
That's why he's not a world champion. He's just a nice kid. He's just got he's probably in the top 10 biggest punchers ever. He's probably the biggest puncher never to win a world title. Him and Ron Lyle.
And Ernie Shavers.
Ernie Shavers as well. Put them in mix as well. And Dave Allen.
Have you ever seen the fight between Ron Lyle and George Foreman?
Listen, mate, have I ever seen it? Every time I have a lock in my Dennis or whatever we are.
It's arguably the best heavyweight fight I've ever seen.
You know what we should do? So let's watch Ron Lyle and Big George. So not again.
And it's just it's a monstrous that's one of the most scariest heavyweight fights
I'd rather
ever
watch
seen.
Clinton against Glenn Johnson. Because
I remember
pocket, didn't they? Not lumps out each other 36 rounds.
My favorite Clinton fight was Ole Clemison against Clinton Woods.
Hey, I'll tell you a story about him. They went over to spar him and they were sat down waiting to go in, and he knocked this geezer through ropes. And then he walked up to ropes and he went, "You, Woods, next in here." And Clinton, obviously, Clinton won a world champion at the time. Clinton's got up and got in his support, Jesus, and held his own, and obviously down line and beat him, didn't he? And he was a massive puncher in.
Yeah, Ole Clemison, was a really fringe level, world level.
He was a bully though, mate, in real life.
Yeah,
boxing, and in the gym, he were a bully, mate.
Yeah. He, I think he won one of those trinket IBO things, one of those IBO titles or IBA titles it was at the time. But that was a really, really good fight. That was a break. I think that was on a Lennox Lewis undercard, if I can remember. I think it was what Lennox Lewis card was that on? That's annoying me, but it was definitely on a Lennox Lewis card, because what Sky used to do at the time, they used to show the fight in box office. Then the next Friday night, they used to show it on free to air. So they did, and it was easy to watch. It was free. It was free to watch on box office, on Sky, terrestrial Sky at the time, and they used to see the undercard, and they had a highlight of that fight, and it was a brilliant fight. That was probably the first time I've ever seen Clinton Woods fight.
What do you think to the Cobra getting put in Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he deserves it. If there's any British fighter that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it's obviously Clark Froch. He a lot of the time he did everything on the road and won multiple world titles on the road.
Title out, right?
Yeah, and a lot of those fights he was getting on the road as the B-side, on other people's back gardens. So that's
35 fights, Kent. 35 fights and 21.
Yeah.
Out of them, 21 were title fights.
That's remarkable. So it is. That's a long career, and I think, but you look at Clark qualified in sports science. He knows his body. I think to have a career as long as Carr did, I think it's down to knowing his own anatomy and physiology, and it helped him with his career. It gave him his own longevity to understand his own body, and that's why he had a long career. If he probably hadn't had that own knowledge, his own product knowledge on himself, he wouldn't have lasted as long.
Well, don't forget, he's got a degree, hasn't he, Carl, from Loughborough University for sports.
Yeah.
And I always used to say I always used to say to Carl, how come if you can be just under 12 stone, we're a week out. Why don't you just go for middleweight? And he said, no, you lose skeleton and muscle and all that.
Yeah. That's that last week. You go in the complete muscle atrophy. You know, you go in the muscle tissue breakdown. You go into pure muscle wastage. That's how fighters lose power. That's why fighters, lose a lot of power. And as you get older, your body starts to break down. You start, losing, obviously as you get older. So he knew his own body well, and he knew how to manage it. A lot of coaches now, a lot of these YouTube boxing coaches don't seem to know how to manage the fighters' physiology, and recovery and how to get them ready mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I think Card's degree in sports science, it stopped hangers on, latching on, and it gave him that own knowledge of, I need to be eating this and I need to be sleeping at that time. I need to be taking that day off. Carl actually, I think I read something before that Carl actually stopped running at this stage of his career and got a fixed wheel bike with no gears and had a hilly route round Nottingham. And he said he actually got...
That's technically true and technically not true. He bought one of them one gear bikes, that were a fork.
Yeah.
Pedaling around Nottingham, but he cut down on his running. They would still do his sprints and that, but he cut down on his running.
Yeah.
But because your body's getting old, you've got to adapt, haven't you? And I thought he timed it brilliant how to manage his body and that, because he obviously took some punishment, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you take punishment in training. A lot of the camps, people just see the fight night. A lot of fighters, what fighters actually do is a lot of the damage from their career is done in camp, it's done in training. It's done in sparring. So you need to find a way to counteract that. And recovery, instead of running the road, maybe running grass. If you're too sore to run on grass, you get in the pool and you do aqua running, or you do swimming once a week.
Yeah.
Or you get on the cross trainer, you go on a spin bike. There's so many different ways to manage. You cut down your sparring. You maybe spar twice a week. You maybe start your sparring later on, maybe at the middle of the camp or at the end. There's lots of different ways that fighters can take the impact and take the stress out of the training, because that's where a lot of the wear and tear is done.
All right, steady on there, Alex Avisa. What next for Dillian Whyte, the can man? Anybody who wants it can get it, he says. What do you reckon, Kent?
Martin Bakoli, call him out and see what happens.
Who?
Martin Bakoli.
Nobody's calling out Martin Bakoli, are they?
Call him out and see what happens.
Do you think that Billy, what's his trainer called?
Billy Nelson.
Do you think Billy Nelson, aka the shrinking man, do you think that Billy Nelson's done a good job with Martin Bakoli? Because I do, as regards
fantastic
talent, but is he out there? Do people know who he is? Because I've heard recently his head's gone and he's been walking around as a normal human being, dressed up as a superhero, M. Bison, out at Nintendo. What do you think?
Probably just to get himself a bit of publicity, but he's done a fantastic job. The Hunter rematch would be good. Hunter's been dropped. Hunter's signed with Team Usyk. He's lost all his rankings. That would be a good fight going forward. I would actually like to see Dillian Whyte against Martin Bakoli. So love to see it. Love it.
Yeah. Do you think that Martin Bakoli will get his title shot, Ken?
No chance. If Joe Joyce is going to wait that amount of time for a title shot, what's Martin Bakoli how long is Martin Bakoli going to wait?
Process for a minute with all these belts not scattered, isn't it?
What I see happening is I see the way back for Anthony Joshua's. I see the IBF stripping Usyk, and I see Hrgovic and AJ, and they'll try their best to put a belt on AJ, and that's their way back.
What a snake belt, because that's what it'd be down as, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Snake belt.
yeah, absolutely.
Does
Absolutely.
Usyk against the Big Gypsy King happen?
Eventually, yeah. There's no blockers there for it, and it's logical. It's logical money. The promoters involved will have to make it. They know they have to make this. It's too big not to.
Yeah. Do you think that Usyk's gonna have to probably fight Ergovic or something if he don't fight Fury?
Depends on the purse bids. The purse split. The IBF know that the WBA, WBC all know that when they fight, the purse bid will be massive, so they get a bigger cut. I don't think the cut of Usyk and Hrgovic. I actually think Usyk would actually release the belt rather than fight for peanuts against Hrgovic, because the purse bid of that would be next to nothing, and it wouldn't make any sense for Usyk to fight Hrgovic, and the TV networks, who would want to pay for that? That would make nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Do you think that's why Warren's? So do you think that's why Usyk's dragging it out, the negotiations?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what's going to happen. That fight against Hrgovic, he would rather give the belt up, and that'll leave AJ and Hrgovic.
What about Dubois Usyk? I've heard Bricktop mentioning that this week. What's going on there, Ken?
He'll not fight for a year. He's not going to fight for a year. He's going to be out for 6 months minimum with an ACL injury. That's going to take a long time. That's an operation.
Ken, how do you get to know all this, man? You must have moles all over.
An ACL injury for a normal person is 4 to 6 months. A guy with his mass and his size, he's very weight bearing. That's going to take a long time to heal that. That's going to take a long time for him to recover from that. So that's a year away. He's not fighting for a year.
You know your stuff, don't you, Kent? You know the deep stuff. Do you know what, Ken? Right, this is why women love you, men want to be you.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You're just not having any luck, Kent, that's all. One day it'll happen, you'll be in Lidl buying some tomatoes and somebody will say, oh, they're better tomatoes than them. They look fresher, and that'll be how it'll happen for you, Kent.
Bump in the Alicia Baumgardner and Lidl's. I don't think so, Russell.
Oh, Kent, I ain't worried about this one, mate. I'm worried about you, Kent. She'll put you on planet Saturn if she cracks you.
I'm not holding pads for that woman. No chance. No way.
You would, Ken. You'd love that, you Ken. Hey. Boxing Board of Control's role in the Conor Benn situation. What's your take on it all? And have they come out of it looking really like lame ducks?
Where's the B sample? Why are they not asking for the B sample?
Yeah.
It's toothless. Completely toothless. It was all, they had to do what they did at the last minute because they had no other option. That was it. Simple as that.
What about Ben Callum? With his interviews on about doing a VAR, like they do in football when there's an offside.
It's not going to happen. How can a small hall promoter afford that? How could a non-television promoter afford to bring that technology in and do all that? That's nonsense talk.
Well, yeah, it sounds good. The championship fights, Ken. They get rid of all belts, wouldn't it?
But still, the sanctioning bodies would have it with their officials. But for me, I don't think it's feasible. I don't think all the commissions wouldn't agree with it. All the sanctioning bodies wouldn't agree with it. All the promoters couldn't afford it. I think it's pie in the sky, Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pie in the sky. It's not going to happen.
No. You know what I think boxing needed when Trump were in power, Donald Trump, and I used to go to bed and think about these scenarios and stuff. What we need is Donald Trump to get every boxing promoter to, sent to White House, because they'd all go there frothing at mouth, wouldn't they, that lot? They go to opening of an envelope, don't they?
Yeah.
Get them
Yeah,
all there, because Don King's been to see every president since Nixon, hasn't he? Get them all
yeah.
in the White House, and Donald Trump say to him, listen, you lot, I'm going to shut this down if you don't sort it. Get all sanctioning people there, drug people there, get all the promote.
I think logically now, I think boxing's even beyond that. I really do. I don't think boxing's beyond politics. And I think politics and the world affairs are in such a mess of themselves. I don't think they'll even sort out. I don't think they could sort out boxing. Never mind anything else. I think the whole VAR thing is just publicity. I think it's just Ben Shannon looking at a way of getting publicity and making it about him and Boxer and their brand and what they stand for. And the Jack Catterall fight against Josh Taylor happened in their platform, so they're just using that as a smokescreen.
All right then, Kent. Last 3 minutes. Who's your GQ man of the year out of boxing?
In what respect?
Well, I'm going to go for Barry Smith, aka the Bazinator, Ben Davidson's sidekick, Bodie and Doyle. I'm going for him, Bazza Smith. Who are you going for? GQ man at year, Porky's Corner.
What does a GQ stand for? What is it?
It stands for a suave gentleman on the front, dressed smart on a glossy magazine. But with me, I always spin it the other way, don't I? It's like the Rotten Tomatoes Award, but I call it the Pig Swill Award.
I think Frank Smith.
Frank Smith, Spotty Frank.
Yeah, he get bashed up. He get bashed up by Eddie, and I just think he's full of it. To be honest with you,
Pat Barrett launched him across dressing room as well, didn't he? When he won't let his mate in or something, I heard.
yeah, he's a muppet, so he is.
We're Team Pat Barrett, aren't we?
Team Pat Barrett, yeah.
The well, Pat.
Yeah, he's a good coach in his own right. He Selfa's doing really well. He looks after his fighters. He gets some opportunities. Yeah, he's a brilliant coach. Absolutely brilliant coach.
Nobody's going to take liberties with his fighters.
Nobody's going to mess Pat Barrett about.
Okie dokie then, Kent. Have you anything to say to the ladies, Kent?
Nope. I'm just here in boxing business.
Good man. Well, listen, you take care, Kent. It's been a pleasure.
I'll see you later. All the best, Russell. Take care.
All the best, Kent. You take care. Peace out. Well, that were Kent. Top man, Kent. He knows his boxing. And I back him to hilt on here. So be nice to him in comments, because he's all right, Kent. He won't harm a fly, and he loves his boxing. And he helps people behind the scenes in boxing who are pals of mine. So give him a break, all you internet bullies. All right, just because he likes Nissan Micros, each to their own, innit? It's only a car, innit? It's a piece of tin, as Peter Fury says. It's a piece of tin. So, okie dokie. We've got, you've now got there's about 17 videos in production. They've all got a bit promos on them and stuff like that. So I do apologise, and I do apologise for being behind the camera today. But I've just done 10 or 12 videos the last few days in front of the camera in my office. So I'll cheer you all up. Can't remember if it's a car one. I think there might be a car one as well. Okie dokie. Peace out. And if anybody needs to go listen to a good podcast, go listen to Beyond Boxing. Just put Beyond Boxing and go onto SoundCloud and listen to Terry Chappendama, episode 133. Okie dokie. Big shout out to Rico. Are you coming back on a Bosman, Rico? All right. Leave that honey alone on them ski slopes in Finland. Get a plane back to UK and come back to the pig pen. Okie dokie, Rico. Happy New Year. Peace out. Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.